Hello everyone, my name is Anabelle Castano. I'm in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm here right now at home and living in the city of Buenos Aires. And these stories that I brought to share with you are linked or focused in certain parts of the country, and they were collected in the 20th century. And many of them have been told for centuries, although many of them, well, also many of them are told still nowadays. English is not my first language, so I'm going to also say a hi in Spanish for everyone. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Anabelle Castano, estoy acá en Buenos Aires, Argentina, y les traigo una serie de historias que fueron recopiladas a través de la tradición oral por distintos folcloristas acá en el territorio argentino. The first story that I will bring you, well, first of all, imagine a celebration, imagine a party. And in this party, everyone is invited. All animals are invited. And this is very important because it was a neutral space in which people could go to the heavens to meet other animals and celebrate and eat and dance and party. Some of the animals were very happy because these celebrations would be common. They were very usual, especially for the birds. But some other animals, the ones that lived in the ground, they were actually very looking forward to this because this was not so common. So you would have the birds over there walking and seeing everyone from above their beak and, you know, with attitude. And some other animals, the ground animals, would be there eating and, you know, looking at everything and trying to party. Except for one accident that happened in one of these parties. In the middle of the party, someone said, "Ouch!" And, you know, everyone stopped and looked. And then it started, the fight started, the discussion, because you had one bird, one particular bird, which we have here in Argentina, which is called the ñandú or Suri, which is a flightless bird. Think of a kind of ostrich. Well, the Suri was very, very uppity. He would be like, "Oh, acá estoy, mirando todo desde acá arriba, miren qué interesante que soy." But the animals that were surrounding him were usually opening up space for him to walk through. But Suri, while he was walking there, he did not see Toad, and he stepped on it. So when Suri stepped on Toad, Toad started, you know, asking and crying and shouting and protesting and, you know, speaking about it and saying, "Y si me hubieras pisado, y si me hubieras pisado," which was, you know, if you had stepped on me. And Suri watched him, you know, this very funny, short, round, green thing, and Toad was telling Suri, "Y si me hubieras pisado," and every time he told him that, he would go fatter and fatter and fatter because, you know, toads can, you know, blow up. And Suri was like, "Y si te hubiera pisado, nomás hubieras quedado." Which means, well, if I had stepped on you, you would have been flattened, and that's it. Because, you know, no one messed with Suri. He was the tallest, he was, well, perhaps not the most colorful, but he was the fastest, he was the strongest, he was the bravest, and no one messed with him. The thing is that the discussion escalated, and it grew and it grew and it grew until eventually all animals tried to, like, stop the situation. And Suri tried to say, okay, give me the reason to me. And Toad would be, I won't give you the reason. You know, I won't accept your apologies. And the discussion escalated until eventually one animal, we're not sure who, probably Zorro, the fox, he suggested that they might be able to solve this with a race. Animals were very, very fans of race. I'm not sure if they had watched the Olympics, but, you know, they wanted other animals racing, running. So they eventually decided to meet on one particular day on a place very flat with some green grass and lots of ground, earth and rocks. And at that place there was a huge rock at the end, and that was the final line. You know, the animal that could sit on that rock would be the winner in between the race between Toad and ñandú. So ñandú, you know, he woke up, had his breakfast, a very, very quiet day. He went down to that place, he waited, you know, for Toad, who came hopping And when they finally met each other, you know, Suri looked at him and said he didn't even wish him good luck. You know, he was like, and that was it. The race started. And of course, every step of Suri was huge. You know, you would see him and he would start very slowly, and he would just, you know, give 1, 2, 3 steps going forward, very, very slow and quiet. And at one point he decided to look behind him because he wanted to make sure if Toad was really behind the cloud of dust that Suri had left him. But when he looked back, what he heard was very close to him. So, but he could not see Toad, so he started, you know, going a little bit faster, in perhaps a trot, and, you know, faster and faster, advancing. And every time he turned back, he was like, Toad was very close, so he started going faster. But it was impossible, because when he reached the stone and he was about to sit on it, he heard behind him, well, actually below him, Toad, that fatty round balloon thing, he had won. How was that possible? But they did not ever agree on explanations. It was just who was winning. So Suri had to admit defeat, and he had to agree to always leave open the road for Toad if they saw each other. In the meantime, well, Toad celebrated, but would you like to know how he won? Because, yeah, it was impossible for him to run so fast behind Suri, not even to win. There are 2 versions of this story. Some people say that actually what Toad did was ask some of his cousins, his kin, that were all very similar to him, to hide in the ground right behind him, you know, in between the dust. And they made a little hole and hid in the dust. And he had several cousins hiding on the road to the big rock because they had calculated each step of Suri, of Nyandu. So they were very sure that, you know, if Suri stepped and he looked to the right or to the left, he would see Toad jumping or perhaps just singing. Another version says that no, it was not that he asked help from his cousins. What he actually did was tell, you know, Fox to make sure that when Suri was starting, you know, he would perhaps help Toad. So when Suri started running, Fox just hit Toad a little bit and Toad jumped right to the back of Suri. So he was actually riding, holding from Suri's back feathers. So that's why when Suri was looking back, he could not hear him or see him. Well, yeah, he could hear him, and he could hear him very closely. So that's how Toad won this race. And that's how they say that every time a Suri meets a Toad, yeah, Suri looks down, and allows Toad to pass. And they still say that this happens nowadays in certain parts of Argentina. So I had brought 2 stories, but I don't want to use the slot of the rest of the storytellers that will be coming, especially because we had this technical problem at first. So the only thing that I'm going to say is that you're invited to find out more. There are many other stories in this country, some of them that are related to animals and people and situations that happen also in folk tales in India and in folk tales in other continents. And well, celebrating World Folklore Day here in Argentina today is National Folklore Day, because the person that first researched professionally folklore in Argentina was born on a 22nd of August. So it's a double celebration for me. Thank you everyone for this invitation and this opportunity. Muchas gracias a todos por esto. And you know, now you know the story of the race, la carrera, in between Toad, Sapo, and Suri, the frog. Well, the Nyandu, I'm sorry, Suri, this big, large bird. I will leave you saying that you can find me in my Facebook page, and that, well, Folk Log has lots of interesting content, and I'm actually in love with what you are doing here. So I'll be disconnecting now and leaving the space to storytellers that come from Mexico. So that's very good, because we have some other people from Latin America, but not from the extreme south, but from the north. So bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.